Hey fam, what's up? This is Robert Anton.
I tell y'all I was just making some food, right?
What kind of artist are you? Why you want to do that? Hey fam, what's up? This is Robert Anton, robertanton.com. I did one blog, so I figured I'll do a second one because I had another idea, right? And this one is called Pay Attention to Your Cravings. And why do I say that? Well, you know, for a long time, I used to always crave, not always, but I used to crave now and then like this Reuben, okay? The grilled Reuben. And, you know, sometimes I would like put it off and I would keep thinking about it. I put it off and I keep thinking about it. And like sometimes a week, a month, 2 months later, I would end up going somewhere to have a Reuben if the craving was still there, you know, if I hadn't forgot about it. So at some point, just recently, actually, you know, as I've been reading more about foods and how they work for you and stuff like that, I was reading that sauerkraut is really good for the body, you know, and I was thinking, wow, immediately when I read that, you know, after I read through the whole thing and what it's good for and all this different stuff, I was thinking my Reubens. I was like, wow, maybe my body was craving the sauerkraut. I don't think it was craving the corned beef or, you know, the bread or the cheese. I think it was craving the sauerkraut that's in the Reuben. So naturally I went out and got some, you know, sauerkraut at the grocery store, you know, and I just had some sauerkraut and I made like, I looked up like recipes online and I made like a sauerkraut salad. You know, I had just plain sauerkraut on the side. I put sauerkraut in a few other little dishes. And it was delicious. And I was like, okay, so now when I think I have that craving, I'll know that it's for sauerkraut. You know, sometimes our body is trying to tell us things, you know. Just yesterday, I was really having this craving for sweets. And it was specifically chocolate. And I do have my 85% chocolate here by Green and Black. But it was more than that. I was feeling it was more than that. I had a little bit and I still had this craving. So I went to the health food store in my neighborhood. And I looked around and I didn't see anything that like kind of caught my eye. So then I went to another place. I was on the way back and I saw this chocolate fudge cake. And I was like, I don't know. And I was like, you know what? I've been eating so great for the last 11 weeks. I was like, you know, I'm going to treat myself. So I went and I had a few tastes of this cake and it just hit the spot. It just hit the spot. Then, you know, I hadn't had dinner yet. So I had my dessert first. I had dessert first. And then, you know, and I was going to the grocery store to get some greens and stuff to make dinner. So I had dessert first. And then I had my dinner, you know, I had some salad, I had like a baked sweet potato, I had some brown rice, you know, and I felt so good. I had satiated that thing that I needed, that my body was telling me that I wanted. Another day I needed some meat. I didn't know what it was. I just wanted some meat. So that day I went out and I think I got some pork chops or something, which I absolutely love. And I baked the pork chops with like some onion and red and green peppers or something, maybe red and yellow peppers and garlic, you know, and I had that and I was satisfied, you know. So sometimes when you are craving these things, and I'm not talking about impulse, because sometimes impulse is just what we're thinking, oh, I want, you know, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. You know, it's not that. It's a real craving where you're like, oh my God, and then you like put it off, you say, oh, I'm not going to have that. And then a few days later, you're still craving it. Maybe a week later, you're still craving it. It's like you should have those things, because by denying your body those things, sometimes it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like starving yourself, you know. So you want to go ahead and satiate that little bit of craving that you have, and then move on. You know, some people say, "Oh, I'm falling off the wagon," or you know, all this different stuff. That's not it. Your body evolves, and it needs certain things to continue. Now, of course, if it's really bad things, and you know, it's not great for your body, or makes you sick, or something like that, then I understand, yeah, that you might not have it. But pay attention to your cravings, because even though sometimes you have this craving, and like I said, like the corned beef Reuben, it wasn't. I just don't believe that it was the corned beef and it was the sandwich. I believe now that it was the sauerkraut, and I've just come to this realization after years and years and years of this going on. I believe now that it really was the sauerkraut that I was craving, which is something that is very good for my body. And so just pay attention to those cravings and try to figure out what they're about, you know, and satiate them now and then. Not all the time, but now and again. All right, this is Robert Anton. Tell me what you feel about this. Do you have a lot of cravings about stuff? Yeah, I'm out of here. I am on a trip soon. You know, I might even post this after I'm back, but I'm on my way. So wish me Godspeed. Peace. To lift your name on high, I could sing the whole day long. It's not enough.